Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic was absolutely sad. So many people thought that this position that Stipe had belonged to Tom Aspinall, and rightfully so. He's the interim heavyweight champion. But Jon was acting a little bit like a softie in the build-up to this fight, on fight week to be exact. He was trying to create this fake beef to get more pay-per-view buys that absolutely nobody was buying. He was trying to say that Stipe was talking about Jon's kids, basically saying that my kids aren't going to look at me like an a-hole like his kids do, when Stipe is probably the last person on earth to talk about another man's kids. And Jon does seem to take that personally, so personally that he ended the fun. He was outboxing Jon on the feet, literally making Jon run away from him. I'd never seen a fighter have such a defense to where he literally turns his back and run away from a fighter, but I guess when you're the GOAT, you can do that. That's what Jon did. And in the third round, they stood up a little bit. Stipe seemed to be stuck in his ways. Jon looked on fire, almost barely getting touched, and he won, making it look easy with that spinning back kick. A legit and powerful technique that is very underrated in MMA, and he proved to all of us that yeah, he is the GOAT. Despite him being on steroids, he fought TRT Vitor that kind of nulls any talk of him being on PEDs, saying that it disqualifies him from being the GOAT. When is the GOAT, he will always be the GOAT, and it's just sad. But people are absolutely burying him online by saying Stipe punching underwater at 42 with ring rust after 4 years of being active, and Jon just basically doesn't care what anyone says. People were really saying there were similarities between Jon Jones and Jake Paul and how they like to beat up on older men. I've never seen a champion get so buried after a win. Some people were even saying, I've never seen so many people against the unification fight. It's insane. Jones beat up an old, out of prime Stipe, who was out for 4 years, make it 3, off a KO. Let's calm down. Was pretty forgettable, TBH. We wanted Aspinall. If beating a washed-up Stipe makes Jon the heavyweight GOAT, then Jake Paul beating a washed-up Tyson makes him the heavyweight GOAT. Looking at the grand scheme of things, people in the comment section are a little bit right. Stipe did not look like himself in that fight. He seemed very hesitant to pull the trigger when you can't fight like that against Jon Jones. When you make Jon Jones do what he wants to do, a la kicking Stipe to the body, where it seems like every time he kicked him to the body, he was doing damage. Every time he hit Stipe, it looked like he was hurting him. When you make Jon Jones fight his fight, he has all the success in the world. But if Stipe was going to make him uncomfortable, he should have done that in round 1, even in round 2, which I thought he did. I thought he won round 2, like I said earlier. But again, it just didn't look like the right Stipe. It looked like a Stipe that was suffering from ring rust. Now, after the fight, Jon insinuated that, yeah, Tom Aspinall was going to be next in line for a shot at the heavyweight title. However, during the course of fight week, he said this.
I can see myself after this entertaining super fights only. You know, after this fight, if we get a dominant performance, I'm prepared to vacate the heavyweight championship and fight for fun. And I want to fight for fun. And I've had a big chip on my shoulder my whole career of having to defend. And you know, I don't necessarily want it to be over, but I just want to fight for fun. You know, I think about one of my teammates, Donald Cowboy Cerrone. You know, he just fights. Win, lose, or draw, he just fights. And I would love to kind of experience that for the first time in my career, of just being like, not having this belt to try to protect, but just fighting guys that I stylistically want to fight against. You know, just random fights. You know, like Jamal Hill, me and him meet up at 220 and see what happens. That'd be interesting to see. Let's just see what happens. You know, I'm at an interesting weight where I can fight light heavyweights or heavyweights. You know, Derek Lewis, the biggest knockout puncher in history. I'm just throwing out random names, but I'm at a body weight right now where I could do just fun fights. And that's what I want to do. I want to do fun fights for me, not necessarily for the fans, but for me. And, you know, let's see if Dana allows me to do that or not.
But speaking at the post-fight press conference, Jon was saying that he wants to make fuck you money, basically saying, if I make so much amount of money, it wouldn't matter if I win or lose. Basically saying that, yeah, I'll fight Tom for all the money in the world. And Dana further backed those claims.
So moving forward, what do you do? Like, as obviously you said, you want him to fight Tom next, and you said that could just be the biggest heavyweight fight of all time.
It will be.
Yeah. And Jon was on the post-fight thing. He said he wants to be well compensated because he saw what Jake and Mike.
He will be.
So when do you actually meet with him? Is that a Tuesday conversation, or is it?
I got Tom waiting outside for me right now, and Jon You let John do John. John's going to disappear. Not only will you not hear about him or what he's doing, neither will I. And then he will resurface and he'll call and we'll get it done.
With Jon Jones being the GOAT in many people's eyes, he is held to a higher standard, a standard that I don't think anyone likes to hold him to, and that is he is supposed to be taking on all comers, all challengers. He took on the number 8 heavyweight in the world this past weekend. Now many people want to see him fight the interim heavyweight champion of the world. Why? Because he's the GOAT. And many people think that Tom Aspinall has the style that can beat Jon Jones. Not only that, but when Jon starts mentioning money, I'm sorry, but that means he's scared to lose. Yes, it's about prize fighting. Yes, it's about making the Conor McGregor money that we all want to make, that every single fighter wants to make. But he did this before. When he was supposed to fight Francis Ngannou, the second that Francis won the belt, he automatically started talking about money. And now what's he talking about again? The minute he beat Stipe? Money. He wants so much money to the point where, yeah, I'm probably going to lose this fight, but I want to make it worth my while. But you're the GOAT. You have nothing left to prove after you beat Tom. So why don't you go out there and beat everybody? You're tired of this narrative that you're ducking him. Just go out there and beat him like many people think that you can. Make all the money in the world while doing it and ride off into the sunset for good. But people were not even happy about that. People thought that Stipe deserved a proper retirement, especially if it was forthcoming and foreseeable. One person said Stipe's retirement was so depressing he didn't even get a retirement farewell edit. This was a picture of me and Stipe a few months after his title defense against Junior Dos Santos, and he was such a cool guy. He is literally Captain Croatia, Captain America. He's a firefighter, the greatest heavyweight of all time. Most title wins in UFC history, Stipe Miocic.
Stipe is crazy. I love that motherfucker. Miocic, I love him. He's got that immigrant mentality. Bring him on.
In the end, we still have some unanswered questions as far as to what Jon's going to do. Is he going to fully duck Tom? Is he going to retire? Or will we finally get the fight that we all want to see? And as far as Stipe goes, he will be in the UFC Hall of Fame in the next few years. I guarantee it.